This is it, guys. San Diego Christian College vlog number 50. I didn't practice that, but I'm so excited and happy that I'm not even going to edit it out. It's a wonderful time to be here and to be a part of advanced learning. We live in a world where the computer can connect you to San Diego Christian College at sdcc.edu, and it has for me and connected me to so much of a step up in the right direction in my progression of professional teaching. It has been a pleasure. Today, Q&A. Talk about the whole program and take into account all these experiences and try to roll them up into one summary for prospective students who might be thinking about getting their Master's of Arts degree in teaching or in something else from sdcc.edu. This is sponsored content, but I have been a student experiencing these things, and the words and thoughts are my own. San Diego Christian College has definitely helped me step up my teaching game, so I'm so happy to answer some of your questions and comments from along the way and sum up my journey as I'm completing and have turned in all of my master's degree work. Last week in vlog 49, you saw me submit my final action research presentation. Go back and watch it if you haven't seen it, and all year you can see the tracks and steps of my journey. Question 1. What changes have you made already to your teaching technique because of the SDCC Masters of Arts in Teaching program? That one's easy for me. I've been creating these podcasts documenting the experience this year, and in my first year of high school, I didn't know if the podcast, the Hogger History podcast that I do, it's available on iTunes and on Podbean, is this really something that high school students would listen to? Do they really want to take time out of their day to listen to their teacher more after they go home? Turns out, yes. But will it actually help them was the part of the research that I wasn't sure of. I knew that I enjoyed doing it. I knew that they probably liked that I was hip and trying to stay connected to them, but I really didn't know academically if there was something of validity here. But now I do. Through the careful methodology and planning and implementation of intervention, I was able to conclude that yes, students tested 6% or more better per test when a podcast was available. So how has it changed my teaching? I'll be making podcasts more often. Whenever the material gets challenging or difficult or dense, I can make a podcast and help my students prepare in a better way and more efficiently. That's how it's changed. What changes do you plan for the future? I think in the future, I will look to make changes to my teaching based more on research than on anecdote. In the past, I think early teachers take advice from other educators, and it's usually superficial or surface level, in the same way that you offer advice for a couple who's having a baby or for who's getting married. And I think education and thoughtful planning means implement changes based on evidence and data and planning. So I think that's a change I'll do for the future, is test where my theories bear out scientifically and with educational research behind it. And I'll use more of those prompts to make changes to my teaching. Question 3. What was your biggest challenge during the program and how did you overcome it? It was time management, but I overcame it easily and simply with a routine. A Google Calendar alert on Wednesday to respond to discussion posts, and on Sunday to write the post for the following week. What I found was the process at SDCC was enjoyable, so I enjoyed doing it. Therefore, I ended up doing 2 a week, and suddenly I was a week ahead, and then 2 weeks ahead, and then 3 weeks ahead. And I would go back and continue to respond to my classmates who were just posting their initial reactions, and I found that overcoming time management just meant staying ahead. That way, if you have family come into town, or there's a concert you want to go see, or work has a back-to-school night and you don't have time on your Wednesday, well, that's all right, because you are ahead of the game. That was the key to success, and I share that with you honestly and openly, that helped me more than anything else to maintain the Inspiring Teacher Show, my music that I produce, my family, and my work life. It was totally manageable by staying ahead. It was fantastic, and I'll thank San Diego Christian College for allowing us to do that. It's a huge advantage to the program online. Number 4, what assignment challenged you the most? I would say the Action Research Project. It's the obvious answer. It's the capstone. It's everything we have worked towards, the pinnacle assignment. I saw 10 and 20 pages pretty daunting when I first looked at it and thought about the organization and the table of contents. Then I saw pages 20 and 30 and 40 fly by because they're just little pieces and segments at a time. That's huge. Go back and watch my vlog number 48, where I lay out how these pieces are organized and how we get feedback from each small piece in little segments. That makes it very, very manageable. Very easy to take care of pieces at a time when submitted over a period of weeks. You don't do it all in a day, you don't get it done in an hour, but over time, you see that these little components are like grocery shopping. You fill up your cart little by little, it's not so bad. In fact, it is understandable because you are focusing on individual pieces like the pedagogy or the abstract, and you submit small pieces, and it makes it very, very simple to put together. But the overall overcoming, I guess, the mental block of it, that this, can I really do this? The answer is yes. If you've been able to manage the things that you've done in your life, you'll find the will and the guidance and the support from classmates, colleagues, and professors to absolutely get through this. And once I overcame that challenge, I thought, well, you know what? This isn't that challenging. What it is an investment into thinking and changing your mindset and putting in the time to make it a quality product. That was a challenge, and it's one that I am happy to say was very manageable. Question number 5 is, what assignment changed you the most and why? For that, I'm going to go back to week 5 of my Ed 602 class, which was the Community Partnerships in Multicultural Education. It asked us to choose 2 children's multicultural literature books and complete an evaluation of the book in several different ways. And it gave us a reading assignment, 10 ways to evaluate literature books. That opened my mind as to just how many ways that you can look at a subject matter. I took that into the classroom and had them list 10 pros and cons of the next debate that we did in class. Not 2 or 3, 10 on each. We actually ended up doing 14. So here's a example of when an assignment changed the way that I thought, which changed the way that I taught, which changed the way my students think. That's the kind of growth, like an example, a microcosm of how this development year has been for me earning my Master's of Arts in Teaching. And that when I change, well, then I go and I teach in a different way that's more mindful and thoughtful because my mind got opened up more. That's some of the magic of the program that I have really benefited from this year. Question 6. What were your expectations for the program when you started? I expected to be bogged down, I'll just be honest, bogged down with lots of work and reading. Almost like if you're a video game player out there, which a growing number of people are, a fetch quest when you're going out and go do this, go do that, and bring it back, and then we'll get to the meaningful work. And I found that this program does a really good job of minimizing tasks like that and maximizing tasks of reflection, growth, and like the meaningful reading. It's not just go read 100 pages. It's read this chapter or these 2 chapters and then think about how that could help you. So you're applying as you go. And I don't have to be favorable to the program to say that. I felt that most of the time the work was getting me to a better place or opening up my mind to get ready to get to a better place, because I think a lot of the times we start something that's going to be a year or 2 years, and no matter how optimistic we are, we do have like preconceived notions that the program is going to force me to change or make me do things I don't want to. And in fact, this program exceeded my expectations because there was a lot of personal choice. And that's the way I teach in my classroom. Choose the way you want to present this. You can decide how to do this. Pick a quote or pick a reading or supply a prayer or give us something from you. And in that way, it made it more meaningful because it wasn't just about students in a master's program. It was about you and your colleagues and your individual characteristics. That was a big benefit. So that's one way it definitely exceeded my expectations. To improve the program, which is another question I had, there were maybe a couple of readings that could have been minimized or set aside or optional for people who might have been struggling with a piece of thought. I found that I was able to kind of keep my foot on the accelerator, but that's what, again, exceeded my expectations in that not only did we get into class early in some of these classes, all 8 weeks are set and ready for you to go and get it, which is the work at your own pace thing is so much better than online classes where you have to wait, because then it's like being at the airport where you arrive, now you got to park, and now you got to walk, wait for a shuttle. Then you got to go through security and wait at the gate. It's hurry up, wait, hurry up, wait. This program exceeds that because it's all on your own work ethic and your own drive to propel yourself through. Question 7. What advice would you give to someone who just enrolled with San Diego Christian College for the Masters of Arts in Teaching program? To answer that question, I would just say breathe. The master's program is challenging in a good way. It is demanding in a way that a master's and an advanced degree should be. That was my comment from colleagues when I was talking to them at school when they asked me how it's going. And I would say, well, it seems like it's getting heavier here in the action research part. And they said, right. Because that's an expectation. My advice is be open to the words of your professor and your colleagues, because they're experiencing the same thing you are and have a different perspective, which might be helpful for you. Go and contact your colleagues. It's not ever really a requirement other than responding to people's discussion posts, but send them messages. I've made a couple of colleagues who have been guests on the vlog here, or who have collaborated on an idea or thought, or have had the same question that I did, and then you can discuss the answers together. That's been very helpful. Some other advice would be to work ahead. I've talked about that in a few different episodes here. To watch this whole series of vlogs, because I gave my honest and thoughtful and heartfelt feelings all throughout, and you can see me overcome the challenges or any feelings of doubt that I might have gone through. I propelled through them here, so I think it's a huge resource. One of the things I told my students that I would share with you is don't be afraid to invest in yourself. That's something that held me back just after high school and just after college. I was afraid to invest in a program or education, and I think it probably held me back a few years because I was unwilling to let go of the fact that I could grow and I could be better. So that program here has told me plenty of times in a few different ways that don't rush, proofread your work, hold back arrogance, which I think is something that podcasters can have issues with because they think they know how to speak in front of a microphone, or that I do, which means I don't have to make improvements. But I think I found lots of ways to improve. I fought the citations, I think, for a while. Like I didn't probably perfect them early because I didn't think I could learn them. And then what I realized when I watched the hour-long or 2-hour-long video and course completion that we did here in the MAT program is that it's really not that hard, and you can learn the pattern if you kind of give up the fight and just go with it. And even though you won't do it perfectly maybe every time, you go back and you train yourself. And this is a training program to become a more professional teacher. So somewhere around week 6 or 7, I really started thinking like, okay, so stop thinking about how good of a teacher that I am, and I do think I'm a good teacher, and start thinking about how you can be better, because I'm feeling like I'm young and youthful. That won't be here forever, but what needs to be replaced is a more professional, more knowledgeable, or more willing to learn and be open to that process. So that's the thing that I've really, really tried for, especially the past 20 weeks. I would say, the last 4 or 5 months, I've really been more about how can I grow from this, because I think we all know we are puzzle pieces that are probably expanding through to a bigger puzzle over the life, if we can make that metaphor. So I would give the advice to someone who just enrolled to be open to growing, be open to the bigger puzzle, be open to fitting in, but also being yourself, because that's one of the great highlights of this class. So several things. Dr. Loria Gu, thank you for your guidance in Ed 601. The ethical dispositions class was a really, really good warm-up in stepping up to the class, and your guidance as the leader of the department was very much appreciated. Thank you for being a guest on our vlogs as well. In Ed 602, Community Partnerships and Multicultural Education, the analytical literature books opened my mind. Thank you for that. Ed 603, week 6, the qualitative methods class, that was the one I feared the most because it was just so many matrices and data collection and IRB applications and steps, and it was all a bit like expanding too fast for me. But thank you for breaking it down into pieces and making it manageable and understandable. And Ed 650, wow, it's been a lot of time and a lot of evenings and a lot of hours. But thank you for allowing me to push myself and not look for a short page length. I got to 40, 50, 60 pretty quickly. and for realizing that each piece is important, just like understanding and letting yourself learn through each piece is important. My name is Danny Hogger, and this is the final vlog. This is number 50. If you have comments or questions, please leave them down below. I'm more than happy to answer them. And so is the staff at sdcc.edu if you want to submit your information and find out more. I'm really glad that I did. I'm smiling here, right? I think you can be smiling too after you have finished all the coursework and requirements. I feel like I've challenged myself to grow, and I haven't been perfect at every step. But I feel like not only have my grades been improving through each class here, and they've all been 90s and above, like I'm pushing myself pretty hard, but I feel like I'm learning to be a better example for my students. And more than just a piece of paper or scaling up on a pay scale, I feel like that's growth. And I'm so happy too, like as a Californian, that this was the program for me. It could be the program for you too. And I think it's flexible, works with your schedule, and I would do it again. That's saying a lot, right? Do we do it again for the doctorate? I don't know. We'll talk to you very soon, though. Thank you. And please remember my show, Inspiring Teachers, back there. We interview teachers every week. Please subscribe and maybe be a guest. Like if you're going through this program, come on and talk to me about it. I would love to hear your thoughts. And for now, that little pennant back there, I'm still not good at that whole synchronizing reverse camera thing. It's San Diego Christian College, and I thank you for allowing me to take part in this journey and document this whole thing. It has been a joy. I'm Danny Hogger, and for now, I'm going to tell you one more time, class dismissed.